Liam Lawson's rookie season in Formula One has been a showcase of potential, resilience, and adaptability. From his debut race to the mid-season mark, he has displayed moments of exceptional racecraft, strategic thinking, and composure under pressure. However, the unforgiving nature of the sport ensures that every driver, rookie or veteran, faces areas that demand refinement. For Lawson, this first half of the season has been as much about identifying personal strengths as it has been about exposing weaknesses. In candid reflections with his team, Lawson acknowledged a critical performance gap that, if addressed, could elevate his overall results. This wasn't about outright speed, which he has shown in qualifying bursts, nor about handling race day nerves, which he's managed admirably. Instead, it centered on a subtle but crucial aspect of modern Formula One: optimizing tire management without compromising lap pace. In a season where marginal gains often separate points from disappointment, Lawson's focus on this singular area reveals both maturity and a commitment to the fine details that define long-term success at the elite level. Tire management in Formula One is a discipline that blends technical understanding, driver intuition, and strategic awareness. Lawson's performances have shown flashes of brilliance, but race data repeatedly highlighted a pattern. His pace was strong in the early phases of a stint, yet degradation set in earlier than for more experienced competitors. This issue limited his ability to maintain consistent lap times over long runs, particularly in high-temperature conditions or on abrasive tracks. Mercedes, Red Bull, and other front-runners often treat tire preservation as an invisible weapon, enabling late-stint pushes that decide race outcomes. For Lawson, mastering this skill means learning to adjust his driving style: smoother steering inputs, controlled throttle application, and precise braking, to reduce unnecessary heat buildup in the tires. The challenge lies in balancing conservation with competitiveness, ensuring he can defend or attack when race strategy demands. Recognizing this as his primary area for improvement reflects his analytical approach to racing and his willingness to embrace the nuances that separate rookies from seasoned contenders. Lawson's mid-season review with his engineering team offered a clear roadmap for development. Across circuits with varying demands, low downforce tracks like Monza, high downforce layouts such as Monaco, and mixed conditions like Silverstone, patterns emerged in his stint data. He was often competitive in qualifying, securing grid positions that placed him in points contention. However, during race distance, the pace drop-off in the latter stages of stints was notable. Rivals who managed tires more efficiently could overtake or close gaps late in the race. This exposed not just a technical shortfall but a strategic vulnerability. The team emphasized that, while outright speed is vital, Formula One is often won in the margins, especially over race duration. Lawson acknowledged that adapting his style for different compounds, track temperatures, and fuel loads is essential. The takeaway from the first half of the season was clear: his natural aggression must be paired with mechanical sympathy, a skill that transforms promising drivers into consistent point scorers. A key element in Lawson's growth has been his interaction with race engineers. Their role extends beyond mechanical setup. They serve as his tactical advisors, providing data-driven insights on tire wear, fuel management, and competitor strategies. Post-race debriefs became a focal point for dissecting tire performance, with engineers overlaying Lawson's telemetry against that of more experienced drivers. The findings revealed that minor adjustments in corner entry speed, mid-corner throttle stability, and braking pressure could significantly extend tire life. Importantly, Lawson learned that these changes are not uniform. Each track requires a tailored approach depending on asphalt composition, corner sequences, and weather conditions. The communication loop between Lawson and his engineers has evolved into a precise calibration process, where each weekend's lessons feed directly into the next. This synergy ensures that Lawson's improvement is not a matter of trial and error, but a structured progression, Aligning technical, for Lawson, the adjustment required to improve tire management has not been about reducing his natural competitiveness, but about refining how that competitiveness is expressed over a race distance. Aggressive inputs in the early laps may yield short-term gains, but they often compromise tire condition for the remainder of the stint. In practice sessions, Lawson has experimented with smoother steering arcs, reduced wheel spin on corner exits, and gentler braking modulation, all designed to minimize heat generation and surface wear on the tires. These changes also demand mental discipline. Resisting the urge to push to the limit in every sector is a psychological shift for a driver accustomed to flat-out racing. The adaptation process is ongoing, but early signs are promising. By the mid-season break, Lawson had already delivered stints with more consistent lap times, suggesting that his evolving style could soon translate into stronger finishes and greater resilience against late-race challenges from rivals. In Formula One, one of the fastest ways to improve is by studying those who have already mastered the craft. Lawson has been proactive in analyzing his teammates' data, noting differences in braking zones, throttle maps, and tire usage patterns. Observations revealed that experienced drivers often pace themselves in the opening laps, allowing the tires to reach optimal operating windows gradually rather than aggressively. Lawson also learned how subtle shifts in racing lines could reduce tire strain, particularly on circuits with long sweeping corners or high lateral loads. The willingness to absorb lessons from others, without losing his own identity as a driver, is a hallmark of maturity. In team meetings, Lawson often poses targeted questions, seeking clarity on specific aspects of stint management. This collaborative learning approach not only accelerates his growth, but also fosters a culture of shared knowledge within the team, benefiting overall performance and team strategy execution across the season. The consequences of improved tire management extend far beyond the technical realm. They directly influence race outcomes. In the first half of the season, Lawson experienced situations where his earlier-than-expected tire drop-off forced additional pit stops or reduced his capacity to defend positions in the closing laps. These moments often meant the difference between finishing inside or outside the points. As his management techniques improved, the benefits became measurable: reduced stint degradation, more flexibility in strategy calls, and increased capacity to execute late-race overtakes. This shift also provided his race engineers with a broader range of tactical options, allowing them to respond dynamically to evolving race conditions. The direct correlation between tire conservation and finishing positions reinforced for Lawson that this single skill set was not just a technical refinement, but a race-defining advantage, one that could determine his trajectory in the sport over the long term. Addressing a performance weakness in Formula One is as much a mental challenge as it is a technical one. For Lawson, the key has been resisting the instinct to equate speed with constant aggression. Sports psychologists within the team have worked with him to develop mindset strategies for patience, measured decision-making, and maintaining composure during high-pressure stints. Visualization exercises have helped him anticipate tire wear patterns and plan driving adjustments before issues arise. This mental conditioning supports his on-track goals, ensuring that changes in technique are not undermined by emotional responses to competitive pressure. Over time, Lawson has grown more comfortable with the idea that controlled aggression, rather than relentless pace, can produce better results. This mindset shift is a critical step toward becoming a complete driver, capable of managing every aspect of performance across diverse race conditions and strategic demands. With a clear understanding of his primary development area, Lawson and his team have mapped out a targeted improvement plan for the remainder of the season. This involves dedicated tire management runs during practice, deliberate simulation work focusing on variable track conditions, and deeper integration of strategy briefings into pre-race preparation. The goal is to make tire conservation instinctive, reducing the cognitive load during races and freeing Lawson to focus on positioning, overtaking, and defending. The second half of the season will test these refinements under competitive conditions, offering opportunities to measure progress against both personal benchmarks and rival performance. For Lawson, the challenge is both immediate and long-term, improving enough to impact current results while laying the foundation for future seasons, where championship ambitions will demand mastery of every technical and strategic detail. The hallmark of an elite driver is the ability to transform a vulnerability into a competitive advantage. For Lawson, the recognition of tire management as his most pressing area for improvement may prove to be a turning point. By embracing the discipline required to conserve tires without sacrificing race pace, he positions himself to not only compete more effectively in the present, but also to thrive in the complex strategic battles that define modern Formula One. The first half of the season has been a learning curve, but the lessons are clear, actionable, and already showing signs of payoff. In a sport where success is often built on the accumulation of marginal gains, Lawson's commitment to refining this aspect of his craft underscores a maturity beyond his years. If the trajectory continues, what began as a limitation could soon become one of his defining strengths, reshaping his reputation and elevating his status among the next generation of Formula One talent.